Okay, this is done. So when we are in a flow, we tend to forget actually.
True, very true. How's the weather in Delhi today? In
Well,
Gurgaon,
I am
Delhi.
not in Delhi.
Gurgaon, how is it? It would be not very different.
Not even Gurgaon. I am at my parents' place. I'm in Punjab.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. All right, nice.
Came yesterday only.
Summer vacation has begun.
Yes, it has officially begun.
Good.
Okay, so I see a lot of attendees have already joined. Why don't you type it in the chat window from where have you joined? We would be happy to know.
You can share from where are you joining and also what are you specifically looking for today?
Yeah. No one? Okay, you can type in your messages in the chat window. Where are you joining in from? We would be happy to know. Okay, Anuja Yadav has responded saying that I'm joining from Noida. Look forward to some new insights on building team accountability. Welcome, Anuja. Thank you so much. And just to let everyone know, I was chatting with Neelima yesterday, and she was telling me that this session is going to be very, very interactive. So we'll look forward to your participation in this session. And we hope that each one of you would participate. Okay, PS Reddy is from New Delhi. Mitali is from Gurugram. What about others? Are you not keen on letting us know? Okay, one more person, Praveen Singh Jadhav from Gurugram, Shishir from Noida. So a lot of Delhi NCR folks. Bhupendra from New Delhi. Gurmeet is joining from Jammu. How's the weather in Jammu, Gurmeet? We all know about NCR. Ekta has joined from Gurugram. And this is her first webinar, so she's really looking forward to it. Welcome, Ekta. And as I said, that we all are also looking for your partnership in this webinar, because this is going to be a very, very interactive webinar. And it's about time. So Neelima, should we get started or should we give another couple of minutes?
I think let us get started. Maybe one more minute we can give.
Okay. Shailendra is joining from Gurgaon. Okay, so weather in Jammu is pleasant. Thank you, Gurmeet. Lieutenant Atul Chaudhary is joining from planet Earth.
Right.
Right.
Me too. From Mars.
Happy to meet you. Lieutenant Colonel Atul. Morning, Yogesh. He's from Delhi. Abhijit is from Delhi. And he's on the way to Delhi from Bikaner. So right now joining from Rajasthan. Wow. That's great, Abhijit. Thank you for joining in while you are traveling. Okay, great. Morning, everyone. Lovely to see people joining in from different parts of NCR and one person joining from planet Earth.
He's from Chandigarh, he said, he clarified. Actually, of course, we know him. He comes, he attends so many events.
Yeah, I know. Okay, Saurabh is joining from Kuala Lumpur. Amazing.
Wow.
Good to see you here, Saurabh. So let me share my screen and we'll get started. Okay, thank you so much everyone for joining on a Sunday morning. This shows that all of you want to spend time on learning and want to enhance your knowledge. So thank you so much again. And today's topic of this webinar is building accountable team. And our speaker for today's topic, Neelima Chakara, is right here with us. And I'll be the moderator. I'm Deepti Sahajpal Gauri. And with this webinar, you'll get one PDU under ways of working. And towards the end of the webinar, we'll display the PDU information. Now, moving on, let me tell you a little bit about Neelima Chakara. Neelima is an ICF-certified coach. She works with executives to increase their impact and fast-track their careers. She helps them enhance their capacity and effectiveness by managing themselves and others better. She also serves as one of the board members at PMI-NIC. So she wears a lot of hats. Before becoming a coach, she has a 23 plus years of experience working with global organizations in variety of roles. So she comes with a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and we really look forward to hearing from Neelima every time she's here as one of the speaker. And as I said earlier, the topic for today's webinar is building accountable teams. And this session is for those who want to enhance their accountability and foster it in their teams. And you'll learn how to build a culture of commitment, and you'll understand the biggest misconception about accountability and how to address it. So we over to Neelima. Thank you so much for being for accepting our invite to be as one of the speakers for today's session. And we all look forward to hearing from you on this interesting topic, how to build accountable teams. Thank you. Thank you again. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepti, for that introduction. I'll try and live up to that. And also for inviting me for this session. Always happy to interact with chapter members. So very warm welcome to everybody who is sparing time on a Sunday morning, to talk about really work-related stuff. It just shows how dedicated you are to your growth and your learning. And I really commend you for that. You're all project managers and you drive, you play such a crucial role in driving successful outcomes. And, you do that by delivering your projects on time, within budget. And it can only happen. I'm sure that you have experienced this, that you're only able to do this when everybody in the team is pulling their load. Everybody in the team is taking accountability for what they need to do. So we will spend the next 50 minutes or so talking about what is accountability, how do we experience it, what are the essential elements that go into creating accountability in our teams, in ourselves, and in our ecosystem. We'll talk about the biggest myth which is existing about accountability, and what can you do about it, how to address it. And finally, we will wind up with, wherever you may be today, what is the next step for you to enhance this accountability in your ecosystem? Like Deepti said, this is going to be more of a conversation. So I really encourage you to participate. That is the best way of getting the maximum out of the next 50 minutes. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Just bear with me. I can't see the screen that I want to share.
No worries, Neelima. Take your time.
What can you see right now?
We can't see anything as of now.
Okay, in the meantime, I encourage you to go to menti.com. So all of you, if you could use your phones, go to menti.com and use the code, which is 3282-4481.
382?
No, 3282.
3282.
4481.
4481. I have typed it in the chat window for everyone's reference. Please go to menti.com and use the code 3282-4481. There's a very interesting question which Neelima is going to ask. Yeah, we can see your screen now.
Okay, great. So, the question is really, when you hear the word accountability, what comes to your mind? What does accountability mean to you? So let's begin from the foundation and we'll build it up from there. Please share your answers in the options given there. So there are 3 boxes where you can express yourself using 3 terms. There are no right or wrong answers, and the rules of Vegas apply. What you say here will stay here. Ownership. Ownership is taking the cake. Responsibility. Answerable, trust, result-oriented, dedicated, communication, awareness. Wonderful answers. There were at least 30 people, so there should be 90 responses on the screen. Come on, let us participate. Answerable. Have to ensure. It is the task we have to do. Awareness. I like that. Onus. Very nice. Answerable. All right. Thank you for these responses. I really encourage, are you able to go to menti.com? Because I see only 15 people here, so I'm asking.
I just went. Yeah, people are still.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on to the next question. Can you see the next slide?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. The question is, how do you experience accountability when interacting with your subordinates? How do you see it? What do you witness when you are interacting with your teams? And of course, you are expecting them to be accountable. What do you see? Effective communication, okay? Lack of commitment. Sometimes, yes. Deliverables, all right. Lack of responsibility. Trust. I like that. Mutual connect. So like I said, what you say here will stay here. Even if your subordinates are here, they will not know what you said. But please put it on the table, because we are also learning from each other. And we'll dig deeper into all of these things. Mutual connect, proactiveness, wonderful. Facilitation, lack of diligence. Challenging. It is challenging, yes.
So a lot of responses pouring in.
A lot of responses.
Yes. Thank you for your participation.
Low on belongingness. Okay. Shirking responsibility. Common sense of goal. Yeah, so, it is a mixed bag. It is not always rosy, and it is not always a challenge. It's a mixed bag. There are communication blockers also. Yes. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. And the question is, when you're dealing with your peers and you're expecting them to, take certain actions, how do you experience accountability there? The dynamic is different, when we're interacting with people who report to us versus people who are our peers, the dynamic is not the same. How do you experience accountability while interacting with peers? Relationships, follow-ups, yeah, influence. Yes, I love this. Come on, I hope you can see the slide and you're able to respond.
Yeah, Neelima.
Okay. Competition, different priorities, yes. Cohesion, rapport. Be able to answer questions, open communication, ownership. Ego, not taking it seriously. Yeah, seamless working. So you see, we're seeing when it works, how well things are. Seamless working, professionalism. And when it is not working, then that's your, not mine. Then there is different priorities, casual attitude, everything starts to play out. All right, let's move on to the next one. How do you experience accountability when you are interacting with your seniors? They may be your bosses, or they may be other stakeholders, senior stakeholders in the organization. What is your experience with them? How do they show their accountability? Is it always good? Is it always bad? Is it always ugly? Approachability varies. Very true.
Neelima, are you talking about seniors taking accountability or us taking accountability?
Seniors taking accountability.
I wanted this to be clear so that people respond accordingly.
Yes, thank you. Frequent connects, challenges, power influence, power center. Yes, you do it. Yeah. Effective response, responsibility, interest. All right, come on. Aloof, reminders. Yeah. Support. Excuses. Delegation. Access for doubts, taking challenges. Response promoteness. Okay. Communication gap, guidance. Right. Okay. All right. Thank you for your responses. So what we're seeing is, number one, accountability is a promise. It is a a commitment to do what we are required to do, whether we have taken it up or somebody has delegated it to us and we are supposed to do it. So accountability is one, the promise, and second, the delivery. It is a combination of both. And I'm going to share another. Now, I invite you to look at yourself and think about your best accountable self. Whenever it is, maybe it is all the time, maybe it is every day, every minute, maybe it is some of the time, maybe it is most of the time. But whenever you are your best accountable self, what makes it happen? What helps you be your best accountable self? Think about it and raise your hands. I would love to hear from you. So please raise your hands. What makes it easy for you to be your best accountable self?
Yeah. Anyone who would like to talk, please raise your hand. Or you can also type in the chat window also.
It would be nice if you talk.
Yeah.
Manu has raised the hand. So let's hear from Manu.
Okay, I have sent a request to unmute. Yeah, Manu. Manu, you can talk now.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Yeah. Okay. So I think a couple of things work for me. One is, of course, if I'm aware of the larger, the larger result of what I'm working for,
Yeah.
and how is it going to make, how it's going to add up into the whole of thing. That's one. And of course, trying to get an understanding of what is it in for me. What is it that I will get out of it as well? So, yeah, where am I going and why am I doing it?
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that. I think Amit had also raised his hand. Let's hear from him.
Dinesh? Dinesh, you can try unmuting yourself now.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
You are. Hi.
Yeah. So can I tell about my?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I can say it's about the loyalty towards my work that helps me to make myself accountable.
Okay.
And the other is, I can say, the expectation of the others, whichever it is, maybe the seniors or my team, that helps me to make myself accountable.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for sharing that. Bharat had raised his hand in the chat window. So Bharat, I'm trying to unmute you. I've sent a request to unmute yourself. Yeah, Bharat, you can speak now.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And thanks for this session. I think accountability to me is something where you need to understand the underlying objective. And accountability is most often I've seen it's given from the top, which is from your leaders or managers. So I think you need to first identify the objective behind, that task. If the objective is clear, and then you can, make yourself committed or chalk out your course of action. And of course, the motivation is important. If I feel that there is no motivation behind the task, then I think you will fizzle out and will not be accountable to the extent what it is required. So I think these are the two things. You have to deliberate. You have to ask. If you don't have the clarity, then ask questions toward building that clarity first before you take up the ownership or taking the accountability for doing that task.
Thank you very much. While we listen to others, I urge you to think about what causes the motivation to go up or come down. Yeah, just think about it, and we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Thank you. Dipti, one more person.
Yeah, we have Mitali and Praveen.
Okay. Who's going first?
Okay, I've sent a request to Mitali. Mitali, can you try unmuting yourself? Or I think she put her hand down. Okay. Praveen Singh. Oops. Wait. Just a second. I'm trying to unmute. Okay. Praveen Singh Jadhav. Can you try
I hope
speaking?
I'm audible.
Hi.
Yeah, so as far as the accountability is concerned, to me is like if any particular project is assigned to me and I need to get it done from my team. So of course I need to look at the broader picture of the project deliverables that are linked to the company's vision and mission. But at the same time, I'm the one who is actually accountable, and accountability cannot be shared. So I can make my team members responsible to get it done, but ultimately I should own that activity and I should make myself accountable for all the deliverables. That's what I.
All right, good. Thank you for sharing that. Dipali, one more response we will hear, and then we'll move forward.
Okay, Saurabh. Saurabh, can you try speaking?
Goes up and down. So for me, or as per my knowledge, motivation will go up or down as per what is intent or what would be the outcome after completing or while doing that particular project. So what value I would be getting after doing all those stuff.
Okay, value for me. So what is in it for me? Somebody else, the person who spoke the first also said that. All right, thank you so much. This was very helpful. I'm a coach, and as coaches, we believe that we have all the awareness within us and we bring it out. A coach helps to bring it out. So let me now bring it all together for you, and you will find that a lot of the answers you had already given we'll look at it from a cohesive lens, a broader approach. Okay. Okay, I love Abhijit's answer also. All right, now, for anybody to do what they are accountable for, they have to first know it. And many of you said the objective. What is it? Where is it that I'm going, and why am I going? Yeah, that's very important. Unless the expectation is clear, people would be in the dark, and they would not know what is to be done. They may, it leads to multiple kinds of scenarios. They may do something which was totally off the track, and you would be shocked. They may do something which is halfway through. It is not complete. There may be quality issues, or they may not get started at all. Right? So it is very important that there is absolute clarity on what needs to be done, who needs to do it, why it needs to be done, by when it needs to be done, what does success look like, and how is it going to be measured. When all these things are clear, there is a reasonable build-up of accountability. Okay? Because clarity is the first step towards even getting started. And the next step is monitoring for progress. It is extremely important that we are focused on, how we're doing. So all the measures of success that you had established in the first step, you need to be constantly tuned into those. You need to have good governance in place. You need to have good dashboards in place. You need to have good communication protocol in place. Now, you see, I'm bringing in all the elements that you learn about project management when you study it, and you use them every day, right? So it's important that you measure and track progress and share it, not only in the broader forums, the wider organizational forums, team forums, but these conversations also happen in one-on-one meetings where you give specific and actionable feedback, where you let people ask for help, where you offer support, where people are able to share their concerns, where, if they are feeling challenged, if they are feeling that I'm struggling, they're able to share it. And it is your opportunity to coach them, to guide them, and give them the support that they need. Help them figure out, help them comprehend what is the problem, and help them come up with solutions that will solve that problem. And the bottom line here, the most important thing to remember is that monitoring needs to happen with a focus on progress. It is not about fault finding. It is not about finger pointing. It is not about blaming and shaming. It is monitoring progress. The moment somebody says, hey, when you are able to see on a timely basis, we are lagging behind, then you're able to double click on it and figure out where something is lacking. People are able to say, hey, this is the challenge. And then you can address it in a timely manner, right? So this is how you keep things on track. And a third very important thing is to ensure that positive behavior is rewarded. And also there is a balance between growth mindset and accountability. So for rewarding positive behavior, the golden mantra is that it needs to be commensurate with the action, the behavior, and it is valued by the receiver. I was recently coaching somebody who said, I saved $5 million for my organization by running an initiative all by my own, and I was rewarded with 1,000 rupees of Amazon coupons. He was so upset. He said, if they had just given me a certificate, I would have been happier. But right now I feel insulted. So it is very important that when we reward somebody, the person actually values what they are getting. And it differs for everyone. A lot of people will be happy if they get to have a coffee with the head of the department. Whereas a lot of people would be happier if they get a trophy or a certificate. Some people might value monetary rewards. Some people might value limelight. So it's important that you know your team enough, and you also are able to gauge, okay, this is what somebody delivered. What is a commensurate reward? Similarly, the consequences also need to be very, very in tune with the actions and the behavior. It is important that if, despite getting support, somebody is consistently not able to perform, then they need to get a graceful exit from the team, or at least their role. Because, when they're not able to perform, they're also anxious about it. And the team is also disgruntled because they have to pull somebody else's load. So it is fair to everyone that we address it appropriately. I once had to tell somebody in my team that they were not able to do what was expected from them. And believe me, I thought it was going to be a tough conversation and the person might actually argue a lot, but he heaved a sigh of relief and he said, Neelima, you were supporting me so much that I was feeling bad about saying I'm not able to do it. but yes, this is beyond my reach. I need to find a different place for myself. So we need to do the right thing by our team members. And I also want to call out this lessons learned concept. This is a amazing practice which we are all taught, because you learn the lesson and then you make sure that the next time it doesn't repeat. We're not learning the same lesson again and again and again. We learn it once and we figure out how are we going to be different the next time. And for all of this to work, psychological safety is the underlying factor. If people do not feel safe, they will not ask for clarity. So many of you said that we need to ask questions to get that clarity. It is absolutely important, but people will not ask clarity, will not seek clarity if they don't feel safe. I'm reminded of a maths teacher. When we asked her a doubt, she would say, if you don't know even this much, I don't know how to help you. What did we do? We stopped asking her. All of us got ourselves tutors, home tuitions, right? So it's very important that there is psychological safety so that people can get clarity, people can seek feedback, they can raise concerns, they can share their challenges, and they can ask for support. When we are not able to give the psychological safety to people, it is a surefire way of getting unpleasant surprises. And you cannot deal with the risk in timely manner if you have not been made aware of it. People will sit on its problem unless it becomes too big. And then we have our missed deadlines, we have our quality issues and all of that. So how do we give psychological safety? By being vulnerable ourselves, by not only talking about, all of us, we tom-tom about the rewards. We talk about when a leader stands on the podium, we talk about how well we did things. But it is also important to talk about lessons learned. When did we fall? And after falling, how did we get up? Who gave us support? It is important to normalize all these things because we are human, we are all fallible. And so long as we keep trying to convince the world that we are invincible, there will be lack of psychological safety. People will be scared to show that they are struggling or they are seeing a risk. Now, we are all reasonable people. I'm sure many of you are thinking, we do all of this. And still, people drop the ball. So let's talk about, even when we think that all of this is in place, what goes wrong sometimes. And the first element is communication. I'm forgetting who said the biggest problem with communication is the feeling that it has happened. Often we use the same language. We may all be speaking English, but we understand it differently. I was having this conversation with somebody who heads a startup in the southern India. Okay, right now I'm in Bangalore. So this gentleman heads the southern India business of a startup. And I asked him, how has, he's also a part of a very conservative industry. So my question to him was, how has the digitization affected his business? And I said, oh no, it has not affected, it has benefited. And I realized, simply because I had used the verb instead of the noun, he thought I was talking about the negative effects. But my question was neutral, right? And I'm sure that all of you have been at the place where, you have to say, oh, this is not what I understood yesterday. Or, hey, no, this is not what I meant. So it is very important that we ensure that whatever we are saying is understood in the manner in which we mean to convey it. And that happens when you ask clarifying questions and when you give others the psychological safety to ask you questions. Right? So this is extremely foundational element. The second element is autonomy. I'm sure at least some of you would have worked with micromanaging bosses. So let me ask you, what does that do to your accountability? Please share in the chat. When you're working with a micromanaging boss, how does your behavior with respect to accountability especially, how does it change? It irritates, yeah. Disturbs the pace of implementation, right?
Become disinterested.
Yeah, we become disinterested, totally. You know, everybody needs accountability. Everybody needs autonomy. As human beings, it is one of the basic needs. Yeah, I like Saurabh's response. You know, when people don't, if we keep breathing down people's necks, they will only do what we tell them to do. And then they'll wait for the next instruction to come. So it is very important that we make them a part of the solution. We give them the autonomy to set their goals. And if that is not possible, let us say, you know, the goals are coming from the global headquarters. We give them the autonomy to figure out how they will reach the goals. How will they measure themselves, right? How will they solve a problem? If they are a part of the solution, if they have come up with the solution, they will own it and they will drive it through. Otherwise, you give the solution, ask them to implement. If it doesn't work, it's your fault. They will tell themselves the solution which has been proposed is not even a good solution. They will not be invested in implementing it. So we need to give people the sense of autonomy. And you know, we do it even for our children. We don't tell them wear this. We give them 3 choices and ask, what do you want to wear today? Even from that level, humans seek that autonomy. So it's extremely important that we give them that feeling that they can determine their role, their job, what they do, how they do it. You know, so which element can you play with? You will have to figure it out with them. Big picture alignment. Many of you said it, you know, why I'm doing? What is the end goal? And that's extremely important. When I, you know, was in my previous avatar and corporate life, often, you know, juniors especially, they would quit and you ask them, why are you leaving? They'll say, hey, I make PPTs the whole day long. I did not join this great organization to learn to make PPTs. I had learned that in college. I'm not learning anything new. Sometimes people would say, all day I'm just pulling reports from this database. There is nothing else that I do. My job doesn't have any meaning. Now, you see, they're not connected with how they are serving the organization, how they're making the organization successful. I'm not sure if you've, let me tell you a story. You know, this is the actually a very famous story. After the fire of 1666, Christopher Wren was asked to rebuild St. Paul's Cathedral in London. He was a very famous architect at that time. Now he was, you know, he was walking around, he was inspecting the work in progress, and he noted that there was one guy who was laying bricks and he had his, you know, head down. He seemed to be totally focused, but he also seemed to have the weight of the world on his shoulders. So Christopher asked him, what are you doing? And, you are so focused. Tell me about it. This guy said, I'm laying bricks and I need to be very, very focused, because if I get even one brick's alignment wrong, the supervisor will deduct money from me. I have to get this right. So Christopher said, okay. He moved on. He saw another guy who was also laying bricks, but his body language was different. He would lay a few bricks and then he would take a step back. He would look at his work, nod to himself, and then start laying bricks again. So Christopher asked him, hey, what are you doing? You're so careful in what you're doing. Tell me about it. The guy said, I'm building a wall. And it is important that I get it right, because this wall will meet two other walls which are being done by somebody else. So I need to make sure that I stick to the plan. Christopher said, all right. He then moved on. Now he came across another bricklayer who was singing away to glory as he was laying the bricks. And his enthusiasm was also affecting everybody around him. There was a general happy atmosphere in that area, and this guy seemed to be driving it with his songs. So Christopher asked him, hey, what are you doing? What gives you so much joy? Why are you so happy? This guy said, I'm building a cathedral. This is going to be the most beautiful cathedral in the world. People from far and wide will come to see this. I'm doing the work of God, and it gives me joy. You see, when you connect with the end purpose of what you're doing, the energy with which you do it is different. So if you're making a presentation deck which will be used for a sales pitch, tell your team that. When you win that business, go back to that member and say, hey, the deck that you prepared, we won new business based on that presentation. When you present a dashboard to your CFO or CEO or PMO head, and you get pats on your back, come back to the team member who had pulled all the data for you. Tell him, the basic report that you gave me, we used it to create this dashboard. And we were really, complimented by the boss. One, they will know what they're contributing to. Second, they will know that they are being successful. Because your success with the big boss is this Chotu guy's success also. That person has contributed to it. So please share that success and please let them know how whatever they are doing will be used. Now, I'm so happy that many of you also said relationships. And this is very important, especially while working with peers and seniors. It is important working with the team also, but very important in the other two areas as well. Everybody, all of us, we like to work with people we know, like, and trust. And it is our responsibility to build our know, like, and trust. In today's atmosphere, when so often, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, we are working from home. Some of us are totally working from home. It is so easy to become an email ID from where I get a message always asking for something. If you are an email ID for somebody who only requests for something, who's always asking for something, you don't matter to the person you're requesting things to. But if you have a relationship with them, then they will actually open and read your email. If they can't do it, they may pick up the phone and tell you, your ask, I'm not able to meet. I need more time. or I need something else to be able to do this. If you have a relationship, you may pick up the phone and say, hey, I've just sent you an email and I would really appreciate if you put a rush on this. And there is a better likelihood that they will oblige. And it is also important to remember the common goal, the shared objective, when we are dealing with anybody who is not, they may be a part of the project, but they're not a part of our hierarchy. So many of you said, what is in it for me? So what is in it for the organization and what is in it for the person? Bringing both together is very important. If you just say, hey, I need this from you, it is not as impactful if you are able to relate what you need with the mission and with the shared objective and what is in it for the person. See, and a new technology implementation may benefit finance in one way and marketing in a different way. And you may need inputs from both. But if you're able to remind them of how they will benefit, the impact is different and the response is different. And when we have all of these things working well, we have teams that rock. We have teams that, pull their weight. Everybody pulling their weight means everybody achieves the objective, the larger objective, and also our personal objectives. They're always tied up. Now, I want to talk about the myth. Very often, we think that accountability begins here. And when we do that, we are putting the cart before the horse. Very often, when I talk to people in the large organizations also, and we talk about accountability, they talk about the carrots and the sticks. But when we begin from here, we are not addressing the basic problems. And we stay here. This problem is never going to get solved. As a leader, it is your responsibility. Your role begins with setting expectations and it carries on throughout the value chain, doing different steps. So with that, I invite you to look at the slide and think about what could be missing for you, for your team, or in your ecosystem that might, make a difference to your ecosystem, to the responses that you get. Take about 30 seconds and just think about what could be a missing element in your system. And once you've thought that, think about what will you start doing? What will you stop doing? And what will you do more of to enhance accountability for yourself, for your team, and for the ecosystem in general? And I would love it if you share it in the chat box. Not chat box, sorry, in the chat. If you walk away with two takeaways for yourself that you will implement, you will see a difference. So let's hear from you.
Yeah. Why don't you guys type in your responses in the chat window? We look forward to hearing from you. What are your key takeaways?
Building relationships and clear communication. Thank you, Praveen. Thank you for sharing.
That's my takeaway also.
All right. Thank you. See, sometimes we make the assumption that this has happened.
Yeah.
More clarity of thoughts, why we're doing, and what will we achieve after doing this. Great. Thank you for sharing. The biggest problem is that we make the assumption that the step has been taken, but it helps to clarify. Arvind, thank you. Clear communication. Constant follow-up and feedback, appreciation and consequences, okay? Supporting and mentoring, focus on, okay. Thank you everyone. I love your responses. Stop micromanaging. Okay. I'm also open for Q&A now. Happy to answer any questions that you have. Dr. Razakar, thank you.
Ekta has listed down a list of takeaways.
Okay, great. I think I will stop this so we can look at each other better. And I'm happy to take questions.
Yeah. In case you have any questions, please raise your hand. We'll unmute you. And yeah, and we'll be happy to take on your questions.
How to deal with the micromanager. So, initially, if you've just started working with a micromanager, you may have to comply and build trust and then start asking, okay, ask why. Yeah. And it helps. You see, slowly you will get to know them. And so share information even before that they have asked. And they will stop asking, believe me. And if they don't, proactively ask questions. What do you need? How can I help? I've been doing this for the last 2 years. You've been being proactive for the last 2 years? Okay, all right. So ask, how can I win your trust? It helps to call the bull out, Okay, yes. So if it is 6 months, in a very nice way, whenever you go to seek feedback, ask a specific question. What can I do to win your trust? What must I start doing, stop doing, and do more of to win your trust? Make them give you actionable feedback. Believe me, they'll know why you're asked.
So the last slide that you showed would be the key here, right?
See, I think that's the best way to seek feedback.
Right.
Because the moment we say feedback, people actually, they're okay writing whatever, in those documents. But you ask them and they suddenly feel the need to be nice. But you don't want them to be nice. You actually want actionable feedback. So always use this process. Ask, what do I need to start doing, stop doing, and do more of to support you better or to be better in my job?
That's a very, very good point, Neelima.
See, that way you ask for compliments by asking, what should I do more of? That means you're doing it right. Stop doing is constructive feedback. And they will not hesitate because you've invited them.
Right.
And you will not be surprised.
Great.
Yeah. And start doing is something, something new, which you haven't thought of.
Right.
If they have more experience, they'll be happy to share.
Right. There's a question from Arvind Thakur. He's asking how to deal with insecure boss.
when a boss is insecure, sometimes it could be because their bosses are insecure, or sometimes it could be that you are smarter than them. And we need to remember that one of our jobs is to make our boss look good. If they're confident that you will not undercut them, it helps. See, insecurity is an emotional issue. So there is no, it's not that, okay, give this injection and it goes away. No. But you will have to, stop looking like a danger to them. Yeah. And I'm sure that you don't do actively anything that poses danger for them. But, make them believe that you are an ally and you are a team and you're working towards collective success. It doesn't harm to give that occasional compliment and say, hey, that idea that you gave really helped. Yeah. So relationship, it's like any relationship. Building relationships takes effort. You are boss and think how negative things doesn't impact the project. I'm sorry, can you give the context? I'm not sure I got this.
Well, Tokir is saying that why are we focusing too much on the boss? What he's trying to say is that you are the boss and think how negative things don't impact the project.
Right, that's a good way of thinking, but I also can understand people who constantly deal with bosses who, are not comfortable. But whatever maybe their insecurity, that's their personality, that's their challenge. If you can support them, do it. Don't carry too much weight on your shoulders. So, combination.
Great. Thank you so much, Neelima. This has been a very, very fantastic webinar. I'm sorry. And I'm sure all of us have a lot of key takeaways after listening to what you said, apart from what we need to start doing, what we need to stop doing, and what we need to start doing more, what we can do more. So thank you again for being here and enlightening us on a Sunday morning. With that, I from PMI North India chapter, I would like to thank you again, and I would like to show the PDU code to everyone. Yeah,
sure. So I'll stop sharing. I just thought my coordinates, if you're not already connected with me, this is how you can. I would love to answer any questions that we did not have time for today.
Yeah,
and love to stay connected with you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Dipti.
Thank you, Neelima. Okay, so here's the PDU code. So in order to claim this code, you need to go to pmi.org, log in with your credential, go to PMI CCRS dashboard, click on report PDUs, click on course or training, and then enter this information which is displayed below. PMI North India chapter is the course provider, and the course name is Learning by 3 Building Accountable Teams. And the PDU claim code is C118BP7UJX. And I'm sorry, start date and end date is wrong. It has to be today's date. That's my bad. So today's date you need to add. And then in case you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Vikas Madan. And the talent triangle will be ways of working. You can quickly check the screenshot. The start date and end date is wrong. My bad on that part. It has to be today's date. Okay, hope you all have noted the code and have taken the screenshot. Once again, thank you so much for joining on a Sunday morning and being here and being part of this Learning by 3 series. We look forward to hearing from you, your feedback. So at the end of the webinar, there will be a feedback link that will be shared with you. Do respond to all the questions. We'll be happy to know the feedback and would like to improve on that. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good rest.
Thank you, Neelima. Thank you so much. Thank you again. And thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, people are pouring in their responses that it was a great session. It indeed was. Thank you.